Welcome to the show. If you're new here, I am Fran, Excell mindset coach, and I'm helping you find your very own pair of positive pants so you can get out of your own way and live a life that you really, really love. So today, what I'm going to be talking about is fear. This is something that is continuously holding people up. And I see it all the time. People telling me that they're afraid. And when I say, what's holding you back? And they're like, fear. Fear of what? You know, all these different things that come up that cause us to procrastinate and all sorts of things. So I'm going to be talking you through some really practical ways to question yourself, to analyze what's going on for you, and to also sort of make sure that you stay out of your own way. So let's kick it off. Get my notes. Okay, so essentially fear can be really pesky. It's something that can really get in the way of a good thing, completely stop you in your tracks, hold you back from your own greatness. Like I said earlier, it can really make you procrastinate. It's one of the number one things that makes you procrastinate and stops you from actively actually moving towards your goal, usually leaving you totally frustrated, lacking in confidence, believing that you can't do anything and what's wrong with me, you know, all of those things. And we can't have that, can we? No. So I let fear hold me back for a really, really long time from doing the things that I actually wanted to do. All of those things that are if-onlys, all those if-onlys that you live with that stay if-onlys if you don't face your fear. So it kept me stuck where I was. And at the time I was really, really miserable in a job that didn't fulfill me anymore. I was absolutely scared to go all in. So scared. It was on a dream business that I was trying to set up. So I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm actually a trained silversmith as well. So I used to make my own jewelry, and it was always a dream of mine to have a jewelry business. And I sometimes refer to it as my failure in inverted commas, because I don't believe it was a failure. I believe right place, right time, right way. But at the time, I know that it was me that got in my own way. My fears, my procrastination, everything was, it was on me. It was completely on me. So I kind of vowed to myself that I would never let that happen again. I stopped because of my fear. And I don't want that to happen to any of you. It doesn't have to happen to any of you. I didn't know then what I know now. So I'm going to teach you some of that so it doesn't happen to you. Okay? So fear of failure, fear of success, yes, that is a thing. Fear of being wrong, fear of a lack of control, fear of a lack of money, fear of what other people might think, fear of not being good enough, fear of not being liked. You name it, I was scared of it. But what this meant was that nothing changed, which meant that I was miserable, but afraid of taking a leap, which meant nothing changed. Can you see where I'm going with this? So what I wanted to do was, since then, I've obviously I've done diplomas in transformational coaching. I'm currently studying my neuro coaching qualification. I've done positive psychology. I know some things about some things now, but at the time I didn't. So I want to teach you a few things that I learned along the way, because you really do have to have that determination to not let this happen to you. So I'm going to break down for you what fear really is and give you a few ways to not let it hold you back. So what is fear? It's false evidence appearing real. That's it. That is it. What we fear hasn't even happened yet. It's not in the now. You can't literally be in the now and be scared about what's coming, because that's not how it works. Think about every time that you're scared. You tend to be in the future. You're always in the future when you're thinking about these things. So when we imagine the predicted outcome, we can get completely consumed by it as if it's already real. We feel the same physiological feelings as if the future thing has already happened. So that makes it feel even more real unless we challenge it. So we often know that we're fearful of something, but we push it aside, perhaps because we don't want to admit that to ourselves. We pretend it's not there, we don't deal with it. But when we do, that's when we can actually stop being afraid. That's the key. So creating that awareness first, like I'm always saying, awareness is the number one key to making any change. So when you create that awareness first, that it's not real, it's a huge step in the right direction for it never actually having to be. So here's a couple of the practical things that you could do to make sure that it doesn't hold you back. So number one is question what you're actually afraid of. And quite often you'll have to go several layers deep with this. So a few that I've already mentioned. So let's go through a few of them and pop them in the comments. Any that come up for you, pop them in the comments. Let's start acknowledging them now. So failure, success, rejection, money, not being good enough. If you understand what you're actually afraid of, that's when you can start to work through it. So the next step is to actually acknowledge it. So once you've acknowledged your fear, rather than let it cripple you, you can start to find that fire in your belly and determination to move through it. Get acquainted with your fear, make friends with it. Once you get to know it, you can work on it. Now, this is something I say to you guys all the time. All the good stuff lives outside our comfort zone. And that moment when you start to go out of your comfort zone, that's fear. That's that section in your brain starting to wake up going, whoa, hang on a minute. There might be a saber-toothed tiger around the corner. Let's back up. Let's back up now. So it's important that you know that. And once you know that, you can start to acknowledge it and then push through. So the next step is to question it. Really question it. Now, I'm a coach, so I question everything. So is this fear really real? Is it something that could actually happen? Is it something that could really, really be an issue for you? If so, what could I do to stop this thing becoming a reality? Yeah. So sometimes if it's fear of failure, what can you do? What can you put in place that would stop you failing? Rather than fearing this thing that hasn't happened, what steps can you put in place? You know, what is the best and worst case scenario for you if you do and if you don't push through it? So best and worst case scenario if you push through fear, and best and worst case scenario if you don't. The reality is you're likely to stay stuck exactly where you are if you don't. And the reality is all the good stuff is going to happen if you do. But question that for you, because obviously I don't know your exact situation. So it's important that you do this for yourself. But do that. What is on the other side of your fear? Yeah. What do you bring into your life by not fearing it anymore? What would your life then look like if you get to the other side? So be honest about what is real and what's just a story that you've told yourself that you've never ever questioned. So stories is a whole other show because this is something that's really big. You talk about stories and limiting beliefs, and these are the things that you've grown up with. It's often happened in childhood that are just things that you believe that you've never thought to question. So for example, I should have started coaching 4.5 years ago, and I didn't because I had a very black and white view of how I could and couldn't do it. And it was a story that I told myself. It was fact. I didn't think to question it. So until I spoke to a coach, she was like, so Fran, what's something else you could do? And then the penny dropped. But these things, don't beat yourself up about it. We all have them. We all have stories. We don't question them. It's what we do as human beings, but question everything. And the next one is meditation. Okay, so I still know a lot of you still think it's quite woo-woo, but meditation is a science-backed approach for dealing with a huge array of things, including fear, anxiety as well, which is a form of fear. It literally changes the structure of our brains. Now, there's a section in the middle of your left and right hemisphere called the corpus callosum, and studies have shown that section actually gets thicker in meditators. So what that does is it links the left and the right brains together. So your thinking, your clarification, your ability to not react straight away, all of these things can happen if you meditate regularly. And it doesn't have to be long. You can start with 3 minutes a day. Download an app like Calm and just give it a go. What have you got to lose? You genuinely don't have anything to lose. So Calm is one. Another good one is Omvana. And there's specific meditations in there that will help you with fear as well. So have a look for those. And don't beat yourself up either. Meditation will be another episode as well, but don't beat yourself up and think you can't do it, because everybody thinks that meditation is silencing your mind, and it's not. So give it a go and see how it feels. It's like having mini power naps in your day. So just start having a look, start finding some that feel okay to you, and just give it a go. Try it for 7 days, 10 days, see how it goes. My next one's going to be obvious. Journal. So journal through your fears. So gratitude is a positive psychology intervention, and gratitude is essentially the polar opposite of fear. They can't exist in the same space. So when you're feeling really, really fearful, shift that focus away to the things that you're grateful for. Write down things, moments, situations, whatever you can think of that you're grateful for, even things that you're grateful for about that situation, which will start to shift the way you're looking at it. You can always have a browse of some of the exercises and journal pages that I created over in my Etsy store. It's /Fran Excell printables, my positive pants printables, and they'll be really, really helpful for you. And the next one would be get a coach. Depending on what you're trying to push through, what fear, if it's you're starting a business or you want to change career, whatever it may be, it is hard to navigate through these inevitable mindset gremlins and fears that come up on your own. It's so much easier when you have someone who knows how to help you unlock it, that knows what's going on in your brain and how to question you to get these things out of you and to start shifting the way you think. It'll help you see fear for what it really is and challenge you without actually letting you get in your own way. If that's what's happening, it's making you procrastinate and get in your own way. Working with a coach can really, really help that. I've had now three different coaches, and they've all been brilliant. So it's just something to look into, because doing this on your own, stop feeling like you have to do everything on your own, because you don't. You need to understand that everybody has these fears. You're not on your own in this, but understand that fear center in our brains that I was telling you about, it feels like it's working for us, and in many situations it is. That intuition when you're literally afraid, like if you're walking down a dark alley or something like that, then it's working for you. But more often than not, in day-to-day life, it's actually working against us. It's not being helpful, but it really is your choice whether you listen to it or not. So move towards fear, acknowledge it, and let it fuel you in the knowledge that there is something usually absolutely amazing on the other side of it, and don't let it hold you back. If you are procrastinating because of fear, I've got a great little download that I've created. It's called my procrastination buster. And what it is it will really help you highlight what's going on for you and what is causing you to procrastinate. But then the best bit is I've created a little workbook to go with it, which will essentially help coach you through. So all the tried and tested things that I use to help me get through procrastination when I know I'm doing it, that's all in there. And it's free. Hooray! But it's been very lovely to talk through fear with you, and I will see you on Monday. Bye. Watching. If you like this, please hit subscribe and come join me in Fran Excell community on Facebook. Bye.